Welcome to RATT Bowling. This is the championship match in our girls division from our September 2010 RATT tournament held at George Pappas Liberty Lanes in Gastonia, North Carolina. This match features Christina Oakley versus Caitlin Johnson. Here is Christina stepping up on the left lane in her first frame. Christina is 16 years old. She lives in Durham, North Carolina. And her first ball leaves the Big Ten on that left side. Christina bowled Saturday morning and afternoon, and she bowled a 173 average over 10 games and finished 6th place on Saturday. She bowled Sunday morning, finished 2nd place with a 3-3 record in match play and a 188 average. And she picks up 2 pins on that Big 4 and leaves herself 8th in the first frame. Here's Caitlin in her first frame. Caitlin is 11 years old and lives in Rockwell, North Carolina. She takes 7 pins down, leaves the 1, 2, 4. Here's her spare attempt. And she gets the spare in the first frame. Caitlin averaged 181 Saturday over 10 games and finished 4th overall. She finished 4th again on Sunday, going 3, 2, and 1 in her match play games, averaging 177. She leaves 5 pins, 6 pins on that frame. Has 16 in the first frame. And her attempt at that spare is good, and she has a spare in the second frame. Here's Christina in her second frame. She opened in the first with 8. She leaves with 2-5 in the second frame. Christina defeated Emily Strombeck in the semifinal round with a 197 to Emily's 184. And she picks up her spare. She's sitting with 8 in the first, a spare in the second. Here's her third frame. Throws a strike in the third. Caitlin is now up in her third frame, working on a spare. She gets a strike in the third frame. She now has 36 in the second, and she doubles. That's a nice double. She has a 36 in the second to Christina's 28. Here is Christina in the fourth frame, working on a strike. She leaves a washout. That could get her in trouble. She opened in the first frame. She's down 8 in the second. She's working against Caitlin's double right now. And her attempt at the washout. Oh, it's good. That's a nice shot. She gets a spare in the fourth frame. That'll give her 48 in the third. She comes up in the fifth frame. She goes through the nose and gets a strike. That'll be 68 in the fourth. Here's Caitlin in her fifth frame working on a double. Hits pocket and leaves the 10 pin. That'll give her a 65 in the third. Caitlin defeated Brianna Clemmer in the semifinal with a 187 to Brianna's 149. As she picks up that spare in the fifth frame, that gives her 85 in the fourth. And she strikes in the 10th, in the 6th frame, gives her 105 in the 5th. Christina is up in the 6th working on a strike. She throws a double. She has 68 in the fourth frame. Comes up in the seventh, and that'll give her 3 in a row. She now has 98 in the fifth. Caitlin has 105 in the fifth. Caitlin leaves a 10-pin in the seventh frame. She was working on a strike in the sixth. And that spare will give her a 125 in the sixth frame. This is her eighth frame coming up, working on a spare. She leaves the 10-pin again. That'll give her 144 in the seventh frame. Here's Christina in her eighth frame. She's working on 3 strikes right now. She leaves an 8-pin. That'll give her a 9 count. And she's sitting with 127 in the sixth. Just picks up that spare. That gives her a 147 in the seventh. To Caitlin's 144. Christina now going into the ninth frame has a 3-pin lead. Both girls are working on spares in the eighth. This is a big ninth frame for both of them. Christina on the approach in her ninth frame. And she throws a strike. That puts pressure on Caitlin. Christina now has the 3-point lead working on a strike. Caitlin comes up in the ninth and she throws a strike. Going down to the wire. This is going to be a big 10th frame. Caitlin delivers her ball. Oh, she goes high and leaves the 6-10. And she spares that up. If she strikes on her fill ball, she'll finish with a 204. Christina's working on a strike and has a possible 227 if she strikes out. Caitlin does get the strike for a 204. Any kind of a mark and 7 pins for Christina would win this match. Oh, and she throws a big double. That'll get her a good game and win the match for her. She's sitting with 167 in the eighth. She's already got 187 plus a ball in the ninth. Caitlin finished with a 204. 7 pins or more would win this match for her. And she doubles in the 10th frame. That's 3 in a row for her. She's won this match. Both of these girls hold well today. This is a great final match game. One of the best we've seen at RATT Bowling. Brought it right down to the 10th frame. Caitlin threw a clean game. Unfortunately, it wasn't good enough. Christina overcame her with some strikes at the end. And Christina's still ball is a 6. That leaves her with a 223 to a 204. Congratulations, Christina.